Everybody, sorry, we got a lot of action going on here. This should be a pretty straightforward meeting, but it will be wild and exciting. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to begin with, please. No Boy Scouts, because I thought it'd be pretty quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Welcome, everybody. Beautiful night. Holy mackerel. So hopefully you'll see the sun sometime tonight. Let's call this meeting officially to order. And if you could do the roll call, please, clerk.
Mayor Turnbull.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Morosky Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Janetti.
Here.
Councilmember Krenz.
Here. Great. Excellent. We have a full quorum here. If you haven't been here, I'm looking around. Most people are here. This is kind of the slate of what's going on. I'm your master of ceremonies as we went through that. Went through 1, the pledge, 2, the call of order and the roll call. We're on 3, the approval of the agenda, and then we'll go to the consent agenda. This is the approval of the agenda. I'm looking for a motion to go forward on the agenda. Do we have that motion?
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Great. So we have a motion. Do we have any support for that motion?
Support it.
Okay, properly supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? So we have an agenda here. This is the time for public comment. Tonight, there's only one thing on the agenda. So if you're here to talk about the Katy Street water main, I will open it up at that time. So if you want to talk about that, wait on that. If there's anything else you want to talk about other than the Katy water main, this would be the time. Just come right up and before or after, just sign in there. Give us your full name and address it right there, or anything else that you want to talk about. This is it. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Heather Smiley and I'm running for U.S. Congress.
Okay.
So I wanted to come and introduce myself. I apologize, I haven't come in earlier. I'm pretty much hitting every city. So I represent the 6th district. So it's all of Washtenaw, Western Wayne County, a little bit of Oakland County, and a little bit of Monroe County. So I've been around and you guys have been on my agenda for a long time. It's
Great.
just, I didn't have an opportunity to swing by. So I wanted to introduce myself. I'm a Republican and I'm running against Debbie Dingell. And I think that my background is very different than hers. And I have an extensive business background. And I know that I used to live in Northville. So Northville is a thriving community and you guys, you're doing everything right. You're building and you're growing and different things like that. One of the things that my focus is on from a constituent perspective is the economy. The economy is not doing really good right now. People are hurting for their groceries and there's a lot of layoffs in different jobs. And when people are hurting, they're not going to spend the money in your community. So one of the things that I really like to focus on is that. And then 2, you guys have had different opportunities for Debbie Dingell to come into your community. And I recognize that it's her job. She has to do that. But if you host any candidate meet and greet events, I'd be interested in doing that. And I will be hanging out for the meeting today. So I know that time is short here. So I will be in the audience for the remainder of the meeting. And if anybody would like to come and talk to me, I'm certainly available. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being right on that 3 minutes. Our scorekeeper wasn't doing 3 minutes, but I was, so it was good over there. So, and it should be a decently short meeting. So if people would like to talk to you, stick around afterwards tonight. That'd be great. Thank you so much for being here. Anything else on your mind here tonight? This would be the time. Come right up, Andrew. I know. I think that's why they're going wild, why they weren't doing the countdown. So keep working it, gentlemen.
The Zoom in public.
Yeah,
access.
because I looked up, I don't see anybody on. So that was why I gave him a little bit of a leeway why he
So
wasn't
should
doing
we
the
take
countdown.
a short pause so that we can?
So what is the answer to the rest of the story here? We working it?
It's a problem in Diligent. There's an out of sync situation. Right now, I'm not sure what's causing it. Evan's gonna try to resync it.
Okay, so I think we can probably, unless you want to wait for your public comment, did you want to speak, A public comment right now, or just you're letting us know on that, Andrew?
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause we've had this happen several times. I just would, let's see if they can. I mean, it's not.
So let's see, is there anything I can put ahead? We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any unfinished business. We don't have any, we have one thing, a new business. Why don't we just, I'm fine to pause for 2 minutes and then
Just to
we'll
see
go back
if-
to it.
Yeah.
Then we'll come back on. He's over there looking at, Diligent is, our system in and out. The system is supposed to be really easy for people to come in and paperless and the whole bit,
And
but
it's not been.
and it's been unique and exciting to say the least. I'm an old school paper guy usually, but I'm trying to learn. So I'm looking for a motion to recess for 5 minutes.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll support it.
Okay, support. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. So let's just take a breath, see if they can get it. what's going on. Do I have that motion?
Motion to re-enter session?
We have a support for that motion?
I'll support it.
Okay, any other discussions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed. So we tried again. We're recording this. So if you're coming to do public comment, people will get that by tomorrow. They can go in and see all that. It's not the utopia world, but it is a world that everybody will hear everything we're saying here tonight.
It's not work like it used to.
Well, that's a great question. It's supposed to be the easiest way because it is not that we're going back and forth, but it's supposed to be a paperless system. You guys put things in, everybody can see it. Like we were just looking at all the public comments on there. I think there's some growing pains in different systems and there's 3 different systems that interrelated. Is that correct, Rob? Yeah. Okay, good. So
This goes where we can talk from home and stuff. Why doesn't it work?
that's great. I will click it off after this, but in general, on the old Zoom, there's an awful lot of opportunities. We were giving warnings from nationally, state and counties. We're the last one still doing Zoom because they come in, if you don't do the right thing, you're sued as a municipality. I didn't really care about that because we did all the right things. So there's 5 or 6 lawsuits around that. We're very open. I know you guys don't think we're as open. We're as open as anybody, if not more so. We want to, we get as much public comment as possible and we give you 50% more time. It's a great question. It should be easier than it is right now. We're trying to make it easy for everybody. Right now, there's not public comment online. That's a little bit of a liability for the county and the state and us, but we were one of the last to take that. So that's a little bit more than you want, a little bit more than I was going to say, but I'm rolling and I'm not feeling quite as well tonight. So be easy on me. Okay, go right ahead. Hello, Mary.
Hi, I just wanted to talk about the obvious. I think it would be great if we went back to Zoom. According to the Open Meetings Act, you do owe us an agenda item with an open discussion and a public vote on the issue. This is the 3rd or 4th time this has happened. Slides are not viewable. A viewer from home told me that she can see that the number of people who logged in originally is steadily dropping off. And of course, now it'll be completely terminated for this evening. I think that's really unfortunate and you owe us an agenda item.
We appreciate that. Others, this would be the time. Anything that's other than the Katy Street activity, which we only have one thing on the agenda. This would be the time. Anything that's on your mind, this would be the time. Ed, it's all yours.
All right, I just wanted to make sure we put J for the consensus on the agenda tonight.
But what is
The fireworks display,
Great.
okay?
We appreciate
What I
that
gotta do
input.
to get it on here so we can talk.
We will vote yes or no on that. Thank you. Anybody else?
That's on this.
Oh, yeah, chicken and.
So no, we're not voting. If you want to say something on that, that would be the time if you have reinforced that concept, but
Well, I mean, in the interest of transparency, I mean, obviously things like that make everyone kind of suspect about a lot of things, I think, with regard to the city's transparency, but
do tell us. Tell us what's on your mind.
what's on my mind? Well, first of all, I want to start with this because it's not going to take me long, but Mayor, your son and your daughter are fantastic kids. Literally, you know what I mean? They are really, he's a genuine gentleman and just a good all around kid. And so my comment's not directed toward him and it's not directed toward you. But with regards to this fireworks thing, which, you know, it's everybody's talking about and probably a lot of it's, maybe it's just rumors and this and that. But it really should belong. It's something that involves you, you know what I mean? Because are you the applicant, I'm guessing, on this? Because it reads like you're the applicant on.
And I will recuse myself of any vote if we get to that.
I get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it.
And on the
But you're
consent agenda.
But you're the applicant.
I absolutely am, and I will
You're
discuss
probably
that
the-
in great detail with you in a
And you're
minute.
probably the dad who helped orchestrate things and
Yes.
parents, that's what parents do, plan all those things. Right. And maybe the funding's coming somewhere else, but it kind of harkens to our standards of conduct and ethics. And I think it'd be probably a good idea just to clear the air to separate on the.
That would be great.
And then maybe others might.
Great.
To make people better though. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for those comments. Anybody else? This would be your time. Anything that's not on the agenda. Going once, going twice. I'm pushing off public comment. I'm closing that down. So on that, let's go then to consideration of approval of the consent agenda. Open either way. So you have A through Z on the consent agenda. Oh, pardon me, J. Most of these are small deals. I am open either way. So let me just, I know I don't have to do this, but
Well,
okay,
technically, we should take it off, put it on the agenda. And
that would be great. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Duly noted, personally accepted. So if we would like to put that on the agenda, I would love that. So I can actually discuss that. That would be great. So Jay, if we want to do that, I'd be open to do that. If there's anything else on the consent agenda we want to add or delete from that. Good. So you would have to ask if you want to put Jay on the,
I would like, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to put consent agenda item J under new business as item 9B.
outstanding. So we have a motion, to put J would be section B on new business. We have support. Any other discussion? Seeing none. I don't think we have to do this individually. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Great. So now we have two items on the agenda. Well, let's go through.
We moved it to B.
Yeah, we moved that to B on the activities. So we have, now we're to section 6. We have no presentations tonight, do we not, gentlemen? No presentations. Public hearings, we've done all our public hearings, so we're through 7, so we're really whipping through this. Number 8, unfinished business. We finished all our business. So now we're going to
Mayor?
new business.
I believe that motion was to amend, the agenda. So now I need one to approve
Motion,
it as
you're
amended.
exact, thank you very much. Legal keeps us straight. So I'm looking for a motion to amend the agenda.
To approve
To approve the,
as amended.
so we have section A and section B.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as amended. Consent agenda.
Support.
Support. Any other discussion? It is, we are putting it on the agenda, taking it off the consent agenda.
So you're
Correct.
approving the consent agenda with item J removed.
Right, that's correct.
That's what you're doing.
That's correct.
I think we did. We're,
I think we did that one.
You didn't really
Well-
combine it for both, so.
no, we did one that was approving the amendment to the consent agenda to remove it. But what was being suggested is that we need it then to be put on.
Right, Tony, we're just adding this to the
Agenda is
agenda,
item
so we
B.
have section A and B on the,
Can I not put those together? Because I talked about removing item J from consent and making it item 9B under new business.
Yeah, and that was the first motion. This motion is to approve the consent agenda without J on it.
okay,
that
great.
makes sense.
We're
All right, so
approving
motion to
everything
approve the consent agenda
It's like that.
minus item J.
Friendly addition.
Thanks, Tony.
Do we have support?
Support.
Support. Any other discussion on that?
Let's hope not.
All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Great. So we have a consent agenda and we have the regular agenda. And the first thing on our agenda tonight is the Katy Street water main. And Mike, tell us about that. That is section 9A if you're following out there on your sheet. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In front of you is a recommendation proposal for the water main replacement on Katy Street, East Katy, that's between Center and Griswold. Is to replace about 1,300 feet of old 4-inch and 6-inch cast iron with new 12-inch water main. We went out to public bid on this and received six bids. The lowest bidder actually came in at $461,550, and that's with Bidigear. If you guys remember, Bidigear did quite a bit of work here in Northville back in 2020, 2021. So they've done a lot of work here in Northville. They're familiar with our construction standards. They work well with the residents and also with our consultants, OHM. So in front of you is a recommendation to move forward with Bidigear. I like to add a 15% contingency on that just because we're working with Northville underground. You never know what we're going to find once we start digging. So
A lot of stuff under there.
so the method of this is a little different from what we've seen. I guess in my 6 years here, we've done pipe bursting and we've done open trench. This is all going to be directional drilled on the south side of Katy Street. There'll be a few areas open cut. That's just doing some service transfers. And then afterwards, the road will be restored with temporary patching as it is today. A full street replacement will be in the plans for later on, as most of the development on the south side is gone through and developed. As also outlined in your packet, majority of this is going to be, if not all of it, is being paid by developers on the south side. HP is the main developer contributing towards this. So I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this.
Great comments.
Yeah, I just have one follow-up question on what you just mentioned. Do you recall proportionately what, because I think there were some other property owners along South Katy that would have paid. So do you know what
Yep, the small section.
proportionally HP would be paying out of that?
Yes. Well,
About,
so the max amount portion from HP was up to 638,000. There is another 62,000 that will be between the city and then another project next to it.
so thank you.
Sorry. Mike, when is this taking place-ish?
Yes, I forgot. I should have mentioned that. They will not be mobilizing out there until after November 1st.
Oh, cool. So then the street, then we don't have to worry about Main Street.
Streets be open.
Perfect.
Along those
Right.
lines, when will the escrow be established? Because HP has to fund the escrow, correct?
Yes, so as soon as the signed bids, documents are signed, we can, as soon as we get them to HP, they have 3 days to cut us a check for escrow.
Okay, so we'll have full funds in the bank well before the project, and then we're specifically paying with those funds for the work itself.
Yes.
So Mike, a couple things. So yeah, thank you for that. So just maybe we can get an answer on time, but I'm clarifying what the financial instrument was. But the key point is that the way that the funding for infrastructure, our part of it was set up was so that the risk would be taken on by the developer.
Yep.
And not by us, which I think is very important. So $0 come out of the general fund of the city to pay for this work. So if the structures never go up, the risk is not on us, it's on the developer,
Correct.
developers along that side.
Yes.
Okay, and then, so is that limestone and gravel that's currently in place right now? That will be
Yep.
cleared and then there will be cold patch put on that
Yes.
after the project's completed in November.
Yeah, well, so what's out there right now actually should be cleared out and completed this week.
Okay, this.
Those are all utility work that was completed by the developer. The work in November, the small areas that we'll be excavating for our service transfers, right after we're done, will be restored.
Okay.
So will full access be restored then by the end of the week for Katy? Because I know we've had periods where we've had to limit that.
Yes, yep. We're shooting for the Victorian Fest, everything to be open and ready to go.
Friday night, the parade. Yeah.
And the cold patch as well?
In the gold patch.
Old patch, great.
Yep, and then, and during the construction of this, obviously Center and Main Street will be reopened during the time frame, but we do not plan on shutting down Katy for the entire project. Since it's on the south side, we should be able to remain open traffic on the north side going westbound at all times.
Great.
So there's a few little areas, just like another construction, we'll have to close down maybe an intersection, like when we tie in the Center Street. We'll try working on a weekend where it's maybe not as busy.
Will all lighting issues be resolved by then?
That's the plan, hopefully.
Yeah, we had some
Yeah,
opportunities.
so we were able,
I-
we were able to get end of last week, the larger chunk back up and running. We do have a section of East Katy that still remains unlit, which the crews are working this week to try. And then we have on the east side of Griswold, the tipping point, we got to get that back up and running.
And given by November, sun starts setting a little earlier, if we've got construction and we are already condensing the size of that road,
Yes.
I would be worried having that opened up to traffic without having the lighting restored. So I think that becomes a top priority there.
Yep. I don't want to make any promises because we don't know what conflicts DPW runs into, but we're hoping by the end of this week to have the remaining portion of East Katy, at least east of Church, back up and running. But we don't know what fire we may have to put out. before that.
Yeah, to build on Councilmember Carter's, you're gonna have the preschool drop off. That's gonna be occurring in the morning. That's gonna be getting dark
Yep.
pretty soon. Just want to make sure that they're all clear on the one directional path, so that there's not any risks there. But that's all I had.
On the same topic, what happened? Why?
With the wiring, yes. So, all the main feed, if you want to let you know exactly, it's right there off of Mary Alexander. It goes south on Hutton.
You probably didn't have the schematics.
I know, and it goes, we found out troubleshooting out there.
Mhm.
It all goes onto the south side. Then it travels the whole south side and then it branches off to the different zones, just like our water system or sewer system. There's no, oh, if you cut it off here, you can keep these ones on. As soon as that line was removed, the main on the south side, all those on the north were out.
Who removed the line?
Well, actually, well, DPW assisting the developer on removing them, because those are city-owned lights. So we remove those. So we have them down at our yard as a stack pile for, we can use those for any spare parts and whatnot. But yeah, we remove those for the development. If we didn't remove them, they would have been leveled out anyways.
So it just wasn't known what the
But we
impact
know-
was for the other lights?
Yeah,
Is that-
no one had an idea or schematics of how the electrical was ran over there. The last big project in the downtown in 2010 did not cover that corridor, Katy Street. All our plans are north of that. So it's just trying to find old maps laying around, try to figure it out, but
Not a pretty sight.
Mike,
Any
it's
others?
a little bit out of the blue, but with those lights that are now down at the DPW yard, would it be somewhere we could consider replacing some of the old poles in the historic district with those lights? Or is that something we have to go through DTE on? Because
those
you-
are DTE own lights. The ones that are down in the DPW yard, those are city-owned lights,
Yeah.
a different program. But it's something I could talk to DTE and see if they'd be
It might
willing to.
not, there, because if you go through the historic district, some of those
Yeah.
are the old wood pole highway lights
Yep.
that do not resemble anything
Yeah.
remotely like
Yeah.
that. So if there was a way where we could work with DTE, and if those are just spare parts and then supplement the design historic district
Yeah.
as a benefit to the community, that would be a possible win.
Yeah, it's something I can talk to DTE about.
Yeah, I
As
appreciate
an
it.
idea.
Okay, any other clarifying questions
No,
for
that's it.
Mike, from council? If there's anything from those in the audience that would like to add to this is officially on the agenda. Anything on Katy Street? This is your time. Going once, going twice. Yep, come right up. So you'll be on tape.
Quite understanding the coal gas. Are you gonna pave that whole street when you're done with
Just
this
say
project?
me. Just-
Yeah, say your name again. Yep,
Ed Brady,
so they all know you.
370
We all know you. We love you.
No, I mean, are they gonna pave the whole street or just
Yes.
coal patch?
No, They're gonna, he'll explain, but they're gonna cold patch it. They're gonna pave the whole street and then they'll do a final.
As soon as he gets back up.
You want me to touch base on it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, please, he'll touch base, yeah. Get detail for Ed so he can
Right
share.
now, they're not, with the developer and their contractor right now, they're not just putting in coal patch like on Center Street right now. What they're actually putting in,
First one.
new fresh HMA, your 4-inch base and then another 1.5 inch top over it. Same thing, we'll do the same when we do the water main. Eventually though, we will be coming back to resurface the whole road. It won't be a full just asphalt. Yep. So it won't be a full reconstruct since we've done quite a bit of these repairs. And so it'd be more like a mill and fill later on with some curb replacement.
If you get that detail to add it.
At the end, it'll look like, when it's mill and fill, it'll look like a new road.
It'll look like a new road, yes.
Brand new road.
And also like right now on the south side, if you drive by, they put in a lot of the new curb in. They're also responsible for quite a bit on the north side because it's crosswalks and whatnot. So that's later to come in the project planning.
They did the mill and fill for the county on Sheldon between 7 and 6. That's mill and fill, they do the whole thing up and they repave that.
Off the street, so
Say that again?
barriers, the fencing. Fencing is on this side of the curbs.
Mhm.
Are they gonna do that on Hunter's property or what?
I don't have an answer for that right now, or what their schedule is on that.
They're taking 3 foot of the street.
Yeah. Right now, just for the safety of the site and where they're working at, with that curb and the repairs. That's why it's out into those parking spaces.
So Mike, I guess, just to, and not to get into like
Yeah.
a group conversation, but that was part of my question in terms of when we'd be complete
Yeah.
with that effort, which I
Mhm.
think we were targeting into this week, but I get that we're not going to commit because we need to figure out
Yes.
everything we're working through and it's multiple parties, but that was part of that conversation is not just that they're completed with the work, but that we've
Yeah.
completely opened it up because
Yeah.
it does condense the
Yeah.
width of the road.
Yeah, the plan is for by the end of this weekend, actually by the end of Thursday,
Okay.
the K Street is fully open, obviously for the special event going on.
Yep.
Will all those utility repairs be 100%? Maybe not. They might be just the first layer. Maybe there's that 1.5 inch that still needs to be capped off on Monday.
Okay.
It depends on, obviously we have
All
great weather.
drivable,
We have great
cleaned up.
weather right now, but you never know,
Yep.
what might happen.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know this was important. We usually don't go back and forth. I'd like you though, Mike, if you could give them that detail,
Yeah.
if you could take that yourself, give it to your group. Get with them tomorrow. So, no, that's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
You're
Didn't mean to get the hook on that. Duly noted. Is anybody else on the Katy Street corridor? Going once? It's okay. He's part of us.
It might be nice if we could just put a few bullets together and
Yep.
maybe Northville News and saying what the
Yep.
expectation is.
Yes.
We'll condense what you give
Yeah,
out.
and obviously, once we get closer towards the water main, we'll be getting in touch with all the residents and businesses that will be impacted. Will be temporary water shut off, for a limited amount of time. So.
Great.
It's both points.
Thank you. Any other public? Yeah.
We're now live on the webpage, but not YouTube, so we're gonna.
Okay, so we're live out there on the web. We'll see if some pop up there. So, but not on YouTube. It's a complicated world
I would
apparently.
think people gave up by this.
Yeah, they might.
Unfortunately.
I've had a couple that I think they're gonna keep trying, computer and other, and he puts it out. So thank you. Keep trying. Excellent. Any other questions? Any comments? Public comment, up to 3 minutes, going once, going twice. We're closing that section off. Mike, you are looking for
I got a motion. Yep, there's a recommendation.
recommendation letter in there?
I'll
Yes.
take them.
Go right ahead. Go with
I
that
move
motion.
that city council award a contract to Bridiger Contractors in the amount of $530,785.50. That includes a 15% contingency for this year's water main replacement program. And it is further recommended that Public Works Director be authorized to sign this contract on behalf of the city.
Support?
We have a motion properly supported. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I think we can do this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. You have a letter.
Thanks, Mike.
Go
Thank
get
you.
that Katy Street going. So now we're moving to, we brought from the consent agenda J to section B on the new business. This is a matter of approving the request to conduct a sponsored fireworks. So I can talk on this, can I? And then I'll give it to Tony if that's okay. So on this, we have special requests all the time in the city. This is a special request. If you spoke before, I'm going to open it up again if you want to speak. This is one, nothing is hidden there. The Turnbulls go downtown every night for something. My son, our son is getting married. We have 160 Main on Friday night for everybody coming out of town, a little place called Genetti's on Saturday. We have the Exchange that night for drinks for everybody. It's the last night of the concert series in downtown. Thought it'd be pretty neat. And I have a daughter-in-law that loves fireworks for some reason. We thought at the end of that concert, as soon as the last note of the concert series is done, I'm springing for fireworks for my daughter-in-law, which I must love a lot. So at the end, that everybody will see in the middle of town. They'll come out from Genetti's and see that. Genetti's has no gain by doing this. I am doing that myself. They don't have a financial gain. So I spoke to our legal counsel. Should we put it on the agenda? Should we put it on the consent agenda? We do special requests all the time. It's me, so I'm recusing myself of this vote, and we would have done that if it was on the consent agenda. I was recusing myself of that vote, so it's pretty straightforward, but I will be open to anything that's out there. I'm trying to give back to the city and all these restaurants and other things. This is a big time fireworks company. It will be on the area between Hunter Pastor and Toll Brothers. on the service road, which is really our road in the future, Beale Street, that in the middle of the downs for X amount of minutes, because it's $1,000 a minute. So this is a professional group that comes in, Wolverine, that does all the fireworks for everybody. We had them down here too. Myself, us, and the township are looking for fireworks at Legacy Park starting the 4th of July next year. They've looked at that. We had fireworks in Northville for 100 years. The liability insurance was too much. I have the full liability insurance. I'm a big boy. I have that all handled from no liability to the city or anybody else. So that is to be crystal clear. Nothing was hidden on the consent agenda. I went with the recommendation. Anything to add to that? I know I'm a little bit excited here tonight, and I apologize. I just don't feel great.
I would just say, as it relates to conflicts of interest for purposes of voting, I did recommend that you recuse yourself because you are the applicant and you'd be approving your own
Absolutely.
application. I likewise did review it as it pertains to Ms. Janetti, and I don't believe that a conflict of interest exists because she isn't in any way benefiting from the firework permit itself. Therefore, I don't believe she needs to recuse herself.
I got you. So that is where it's going. Didn't mean to get excited earlier, but
Yes, I'll just add
go right ahead.
one quick. So we do have a certificate of insurance for $1 million general liability is included.
Yep.
And then from a budget standpoint, to clarify, any expenses incurred will be invoiced to the requester.
That is correct.
The other thing that I would just highlight from a council perspective is we need to be cognizant of the fact that if a similar request comes from any resident, we have to treat it the same way.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
we should all, in agreement as we think through the vote here,
Absolutely.
whatever decision you're making, you got to be consistent if someone else comes forward with a similar
Yes.
similar ask.
Indeed.
More public.
Anything else to add?
No, I would just, somebody in constructing a motion on this is that I would just, add to the motion, actually, because I believe your request also, and is asking for the ice cream truck and classic car to be parked in front of Genetti's from 6 to 10. And the way the motion is constructed, it doesn't include that. It's only a motion to approve the fireworks show.
Yeah, it was in the documents, but I am
No,
fine for
it's
that.
just a,
Would a potential option say to conduct, and then since we're using the top, special event request and fireworks show? Because that's included within.
Yeah,
the
that would-
event Request.
that would be perfect. Just a dot
Great.
and I cross the T.
Sounds great.
So-
And that ice cream truck will be serving everybody in Northville that night. Besides those there.
Maybe
Good.
another question for George. Is there going to be any on
For free.
cost to any of the other services in the city that we will need to track? Because as Councilmember Carter said, we have to treat any and all future requests the same. So we'd have to set that expectation up front that if there was any DPW or first responder burden,
Correct.
that the applicant would cover that. Can you speak to that briefly?
So at this point, the only ones we see potentially are the public works person to raise and lower bollards, and then also the possible billing for the fire marshal or fire chief to do a quick review beforehand. So if there's any additional staff or anything needs to be done, it would be billed those would be billed at an hourly rate, and it would all be billed.
And I've agreed in writing that I would take all absorption of any expense for.
No,
the
thank you, Mayor. I
city.
just want to put on the record what the expectation would be
Good
for anybody
point.
else in the
Yep.
future state. that
Yeah,
way.
and it is,
Absolutely.
and I would just say, George, if you could please look, there is within the our ordinances, about display fireworks, getting them
Yep.
approved and all that. So look to that, they do talk about fees there, but I don't know when's the last time we've ever even looked at
Yeah.
that. So,
We did for 100 years and we got away from it because of.
So 1990.
Yep, right,
I was there.
right.
so anyway.
Great.
Just,
I'm fully into all those changes. I will not be voting on this. I recuse myself. If it was on the consent agenda, I will recuse myself of this vote and I will do a roll call vote here in a second. I know, is there any other discussion up here? Any other comments? Seeing none. I know some of you've already talked, but I'm going to open this up again. If you have anything else to say, you mentioned it, we brought it to the regular agenda. If you have something else, this would be the time, public comment. Going once.
Yeah.
Yes, no, because it's on tape and but you have to come up here.
no,
No,
You got to come up.
I apologize. It's just so we can
problem
see
is the
your
recording-
face on tape and
The recording
everything
doesn't
else.
pick you up in
The
video.
camera's looking right at you. We want to see you,
well, no, it's hearing.
It's the
you.
audio.
hearing you
pick
and
up.
seeing you.
Right.
Susan Plaga,
East Main.
Susan, how are you?
Okay, you say it's open to anybody because he's gonna do it? So when I turn 70, if I want to open the streets on Main Street to bring in some food truck, you cannot deny me. You're gonna tell me that right
It'd be
now,
equal but different with everybody. Absolutely. It'd be the same permit. Absolutely.
okay? I'm holding you to that.
Okay. Great. And if you had fireworks or if you brought something.
Just to clarify, just to clarify, because I think that like we can't just open up. We're not, it doesn't mean we're approving every single event
Correct.
that comes through. Because you open that door, then
We look at
it would
events
turn into chaos
every
every
month.
weekend. Excuse me.
No, for me.
Let me speak for a second, okay? What we are saying is that if somebody comes with a similar request, so if you said you want to do the same type of event, you want to do an ice cream truck, you want to do a car in town, you want to do fireworks, it should be treated the exact same way. I do want to be careful because if we say every single event is going to get approved, I don't think you would like that. I don't think anyone else in this room would like that because we could have a
Equal to
giant
different.
event every single weekend. And this would
My
be chaotic.
70th birthday, I want those streets open and I want to bring in a food truck. You're gonna give him a food truck for a wedding. I'm not saying I'm gonna do
Yeah.
fireworks. So if you're gonna approve that, I'm just asking for one of his three things. You're gonna have to approve mine.
At that time, we would look at the complete request, absolutely, and see all the liability, like we're doing this. Yep,
We'll talk.
absolutely.
I'll get back to you.
Anybody else on this? Open, going once? Go right ahead. You spoke, but you can speak again on this one, absolutely. I opened it up again.
Are you gonna have fireworks, right?
Yes,
You gonna have a fire truck down there and an ambulance?
this is
They're
supposed to
required
be.
for that.
Yep.
It was in our fire department for 35 years.
Yes.
Always had to have a fire truck there. Always had an ambulance. The guys shooting off the fireworks, so if they get hurt. Have you guys thought of that? How much that?
Absolutely. The
How
fire
about the
marshals looked
police?
at it all.
You're opening this up to the whole city. So if you get 5,000 people, who's gonna pay for all these extra police and fire that gotta be down there? I mean, you guys gotta think this out. This is a conflict of interest.
You have thought this out.
How come, the developers letting you use their land? Nobody else can touch that land, but how did you manage to do that?
Well, it's in the public thoroughway, Beale Street, but that is,
Public.
we asked them that went to a vote at Toll Brothers Land. It's the
You know, isn't
street
that
between the
amazing how
two.
you- isn't that
That's where the
conflict
two-
of interest? Do you know how bad this looks, Mayor?
I would have asked if I could have gone at a street right behind or let Andrew Daly's, but they
You
needed
can't
to be
just have
farther away.
fireworks in the middle, not like in your backyard.
I appreciate that.
Well, I want to make sure we see every bill that's charged to you.
I'm sure you're gonna see it all.
I mean,
It's
I
not
want
up
a
back and
whole-
forth, but
the
thank you for
whole
the
thing written
comments.
down so we can see every charge,
You will.
because this is gonna cost you more than you think.
It's about $100,000 weekend. I got it. Yep.
Not just having the fire marshal come down and check on it. You need a fire truck on site.
We understand.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
You should have told us that before you started.
It meets all policies and procedures. Anything else? Mary, you do have to come up so we can put you on tape. Oh, great one.
I was just wondering from a process perspective, don't special events have to go through the DDA for clearance before they come to the council?
No, I don't, this is a council approval for the special event. This is not going to the DDA.
Okay, but it's in the downtown corridor. I'm just surprised that it didn't go through DDA.
It's usually this
This is not in the DDA.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Well,
Thank you.
well, it is. But it's okay. We do that.
It's, well, the fireworks are being, the south of Beale is not in the DDA
For
district.
the complete event,
So,
but it's okay, George. It's-
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, you mean the.
Any other
truck
comment?
Coming in.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I am open if it goes either way because it will save me an awful lot of money. Thank you.
I just want to ask, I want to clarify. So Beale Street is public access now.
Beale Street eventually will be to the city for 30 miles of our roads. It'll be probably
You just mentioned
30.5.
that it's a public thoroughfare. Maybe
I probably ahead of myself. Eventually, Beale Street will be a public road.
Love to
There's
walk
some
back and forth.
private roads in there when it's done. Beale Street, I know, but right now we can't all go in and out of there, but eventually that will be a city road maintained by the city, not by Hunter Pastor or
Just
Toll Brothers, to my knowledge.
I
Is
thought
that
it'd be
correct?
safer than me ride my bike on.
That is not, and you and I can't go down there right now. I'd love to. Good. Anything else? I'm open either way. It would save me an awful lot of money. I'd appreciate that, but I'm going to recuse myself from this vote, but I'm going to ask for a motion to go forward. And then I'm going to
John's
ask,
got a good at
do you have that?
that minor.
Yeah, with the minor addition would be fine. John?
No, Mayor, I just want to reinforce my previous comment that the expectation is this event, all additional expenses and city services were going to be line item and billed.
Yes,
I said that before public comment, and I fully expect that with this event or any other event.
absolutely.
So there's no difference there.
Yeah, and I agree. It was very clear to me in the council communication that
Yep.
that was the case.
Yep.
Yes.
And all
So
of that.
I just want
would
to,
be-
I'm not sure everybody heard that.
Yep, I know
That
that.
is the expectation,
Yep.
is that all
the paperwork and the
services will
legal.
be billed through city administration and go to any applicant who does this type of event.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, that's all I need.
So I'm looking for a motion on the table for that. I
All right.
have a motion.
I move to approve the request from Brian Turnbull to conduct a special event and fireworks show on September 28th, 2024 at 9:45 PM as specified above, given the insurance certificate, endorsement, and hold harmless are received by the city clerk.
So we have a motion. Do we have support of that motion?
I'll support the motion.
We have support. Any other discussion on this? I am going to recuse myself of the vote, but I'll ask for a roll call vote if we could, clerk, on that. That'd be great.
Marowski Brown,
Yes,
Krenz,
Yes,
Janetti,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Great. So we have a motion and it was approved. That will be a special request that will go forward that night. Great. So those are the two things that are on new business. Going to number 10, Mayor and Council Communications. Big weekend, big. This is the Victorian Festival coming. If you're in town, this would be a great thing for you running for Senate to walk around town. As somebody going into a contest, you can't be in the parade unless you're in there, but you can walk all around town. So this is at times tens of thousands of people for everything that we do from Friday, Saturday. A really neat thing too, Saturday at 1:00, we are dedicating that history tree behind here. That's part of the whole Victorian Festival and the history of Northville dating almost 200 years now. It'd be kind of a neat thing to be around. That month project has been about 6 months and he has done a tremendous amount of work. And we have the designer of that whole thing. Do we not, Stacy in the back? Yes. She has designed this whole artwork that a carver took to heart. And he has been working each and every day. And Stacy even added more things because we had a little bit more wood than possible. That's part of the Victorian Festival. Friday night, 6:30 is the parade. Everybody will line up and see that night. It's a great event, a great weekend. All the kids will be down at Mill Race, all Friday morning. Be involved. There's 85 vendors that will be in the downtown streets for the activities through the weekend. A car show, I'm understanding, and some other things. It will be a neat event. So anyways, that is what's going on. Get involved. We're doing a lot of dedications, a lot of things. All of us are involved with a lot of things that we can. We're here because of what goes on Victorian Festival weekend. So I would ask all of you, engage, be around, bring friends to town. It'll be a fun weekend. So that's all I have today. Anything else from council?
Mayor, I'll start us off.
Great. Go ahead.
Thursday night at the garage, coffee with council. So this is a nighttime event because we have a lot of families who are busy during the day and on Saturday mornings. So there was a request for opportunities for other members of the community to have the chance to get in there. So we're going to try it out. I've already made the request that we have a lot of decaf coffee at 6:30 at night. So we'll have that. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there.
We'll amp them up. We'll get some Red Bulls over there.
Yeah,
for
we'll
you.
get some, there was a request for cocktails with council, but I think that would be rejected. So it's gonna be decaf coffee and some coffee with council.
Can we have a vote on that?
Okay.
No vote.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Councilmember Janetti and
No,
I.
kidding.
We will-
Don't put that.
Look forward to seeing you there 6:30 at the garage. It's a great venue. Also just want to give a tip of the hat to some people in this community who probably don't get any of the recognition that they should. But if you walk over on Katy Street, right in front of Oakwood Cemetery,
Oh.
some of the residents, the Boy Scouts, Wyatt Summers, great kid, Anna Hay, others, did a bunch of cleanup of the cemetery. So, one of the functions that the mayor kicked off for us that I'm sponsoring or supporting with another great neighbor of ours, David Merrill, is the Cemetery Restoration Task Force. We are a town that loves our history, but we have done an insufficient job on that aspect of our history with the people. And it's time that we honor them. And that's become extraordinarily clear for me as I've been through Arlington and the American Cemetery at the Battle of the Bulge and a bunch of other places, the honor and awe that those places have relative to the dysfunction that's over here. So there's gonna be a lot of great work. If you're interested, we need everybody we can. And then also with Rural Hill, but all the work's gonna start there. The other part of it is some of the stones have been through a donation, have been restored. So if you walk in, there's like sandstone cleaning. That little baby cradle on the left-hand side was in pieces and broken, but that's now been repaired. And the goal is over time here, what we're gonna do is restore all those stones. And then we have great historians in towns that are gonna mark every single person with their history. And we're gonna find a way to tell their stories because we love to tell the stories of the architecture, but it's really hard to trace the stories of the people to the ones that are actually there. So it's really, really interesting work. So if you're walking down Katy, just walk right in on the left and you can see there's about a dozen stones. And so I'll probably be carrying forward into next year's budget a proposal to look at more of that work and what it looks like. So everybody on council, everybody who's interested on restoring, we'll say more of the physical history of the community, go check that out. I hope we get all the way through Oakwood because as you walk through there, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And in a sense, shame on us that we ever let it get to be that point. Northville Youth Network, Wellness Wednesdays, big fan of that. Mental illness and is never far away. So if you go to northvilleyouthnetwork.org for our kids, there's an event in October 9th, November 6th, and December. Go check that out. It's one of the best groups we have. Also, one last thing is, to my surprise, driving home from somewhere out of town on my Google Maps, I saw a bunch of street names in the Downs. So I would like to have a discussion at some point on what the formal functioning and naming process of streets is, because I do believe those are placeholders. But we do have to get into, in some instances, if that is the final name of the roads, or at least put that out in public forum, like what the naming is it the right of the developer, just so we know, are those the final? But I got a few questions and George, I don't know. Are those locked in? Are those done? Maybe you know better than I do.
Yeah, so I think we were all a little surprised to see the names pop up there.
Yeah.
Streets would be named at the time that the city comes back to dedicate them as public right of way. So the public streets will be dedicated by council and named by council. The private alleys have a different process, but I don't think there are final names on those process streets either. So I think everyone was rather surprised from the developer team that those popped in. I don't know how Google picked that up, but I think those were preliminary or early.
There's probably
like
a submission
placeholders.
on new roads through the Google Map function.
Yeah, so there's a placeholder. So those names are not finalized at this point. And council will be, when they dedicate the roads for state tax funding issues, you will be at that point assigning the names.
So yeah, maybe if we can get a narrative at some point, don't put it at the top of your list, but it's something maybe we should be aware of. But I think people looked at that and thought that that was already done.
You're surprised.
Yeah, we were surprised to say that.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that, I mean, it does come to us as a package, as a very technical legal package.
Yes.
What I'm gonna suggest is which streets and what names are at least initially proposed and then, process for making some changes to those names.
Yep.
That be brought to us before.
Exactly.
So in an informal document for discussion and discussion with the public.
Yeah,
So.
and I would like to have the lead time to be in front of that because,
Yeah.
Great.
and that's the goal is the community should be aware. It should be out in front. I think it should be straightforward.
They should know the
It should-
names before.
just shouldn't
Yep.
pop up on Google Maps for something that's.
I think we all agree.
And
Yep.
I understand that someone has to suggest those names. So I would assume
Placeholder. someplace.
initially it's this developer working with the city. But there's a larger question of what will those final names be? And that when it, I think needs to come to us.
I believe the developer alone could put in the streets and the street names on the Google map function if they own the property. But that's going down a rabbit hole that this body doesn't need to tonight. But yeah, I would like to keep that out in front of everybody and have an understanding of it. So
Super.
we should keep that really right out in front of the committee. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Good. And we have another task force. We started task forces about 4 years ago. The Riverwalk, Ford Field, Farmers Market, all those things are percolating today. These are two that are starting now that we're going to fruition.
I'm gonna go in order of events. So one, I just wanted to say it was great seeing a number of you at the Sweep the Streets event on September 7th. Thank you to Dr. Demery and Preservation Dental for helping to organize that, as well as Sweet Brew Coffee. It was not decaf for the record, which thank God.
Good.
Pizza cutters and parmenters and a whole lot of volunteers. It was a great event. We picked up a lot of trash and fun, good effort of the community coming together to do good. The second is to the point that Andrew was alluding to and the mayor just referenced. We are also forming a bicentennial task force. 2027 is our bicentennial. I know that's a little ways out. 2025, the settlers first arrived, so we're gonna start about the same time. Reality is we got a lot of really good events that are planned as part of that. We are gonna be going through fundraising. We're trying to think of how we can make sure we're recognizing our buildings, the individuals who have paved the roads before us, and ultimately make sure that we can come together and it becomes a great community event. So more to come on that, but tomorrow, 7 p.m. at the community center, if you're interested in hearing about the ideas that have been thought of to date or joining one of the subcommittees within, we'd love to have you. And then the last is just I am excited that I'll be joining my fellow council members as well as my third grade daughter in the parade at the Victorian Festival this weekend. I'm looking forward to the parade and all of the events throughout the weekend. So it'll be a fun couple of days for Northville here.
Gonna be more, yeah, and apparently we have competing events tomorrow night because Planning Commission meets.
That's why we're
Tomorrow
at the
night.
community center.
Yeah, so Planning Commission and one of the, this comes out of the Sustainability Committee, also supported by the Planning Commission, is the Green Ordinance Audit. So that'll be the first discussion, I believe, publicly. George, I think it's gonna be coming to us as well. But I know, I'm looking forward to that discussion in terms of just some better environmental management, stormwater management, and really, as we've discussed in the past couple months with the help of Justin, is really looking at those ordinances that need updates. And so that is part of that green ordinance audit for environmental issues. So that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here.
Then we'll be across at the community center. I'm not saying it's a competition, but you know.
We kind of ran out of space. There's so many things going on. We're over at the community center, bicentennial, 7 o'clock tomorrow at the community center. We don't have, I know we have all these rooms. We're filling them tomorrow, a lot of meetings, so a lot of action going on. Great. Anything to add?
Not me.
Great, super. Thanks for all you do for the city and the Genettis. I'm looking for a motion for adjournment. Do we have that motion?
Motion to
Do we have
adjourn.
anything from George, by the way?
Oh, my goodness.
Nobody seconded.
We already got.
Okay.
He was gonna let that go.
Give us an update. I know, geez, I was getting excited.
We already got the coffee with council. That's all I would say.
thought we'd
Hopefully
get
we
done
see people
within an
there for
hour.
that. Nope, great.
Can we drink?
The guests can drink.
You cannot drink.
We cannot drink.
Okay, good.
So after the meeting's over.
So with that, I am now looking for a motion for it. Was there anything else that you'd like to share today?
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Stacy with some applause.
Yes, Stacy,
Stacy
The
for developing the whole
artist.
art. Absolutely. Stacy, the artist of the tree down there. We will talk a little bit about that when we're around the tree at 1 o'clock. You know, I'll have a little proclamation and she'll be part of that. But so, thank you. Duly noted.
thank you, Mary.
Good. So do I have a motion now for adjournment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We are